Okay, I would like to thank the ICS for the opportunity to present the results of our work. These are my disclosures. The aim of the study was to determine the differences in EMG activity of the individual pelvic floor muscles during contractions and relaxations in patients with OAB compared to healthy volunteers, to gain more insight into the pelvic floor muscle function in women with OAB. In a comparative cohort study, a secondary analysis was conducted. 2 studies were used, a randomized controlled trial, which included 15 OAB patients, and a cohort study of co-contractions, which included 15 healthy pelvic floor physiotherapists. We compared 3 tasks: 1 minute rest, 10 maximum voluntary contractions, and 3 endurance contractions. For EMG registration, we used a unipolar maple probe with 24 electrodes divided over the anterior, posterior, right and left side, located superficial to deep. For statistical analysis, we used repeated measures, and for every electrode, every single contraction was included. And here you see an example of 1 electrode. Every line represents a series of contractions for 1 case, the 10 MVCs and the 3 endurance contractions. There was no significant difference in parity between the groups. Patients with complaints of OAB related to healthy volunteers demonstrate significant lower muscle activity in rest and from the first to the last MVC and endurance contraction. Reduction of EMG activity was not significant depending on age for all 24 electrodes. In these grids, light blue shows the lowest reduction and dark blue the highest reduction. For tone at rest, the large reduction in EMG activity in the OAB patients was found especially for the electrodes nearest to the urethral sphincter and the puborectal muscle. And that's the middle circle. Repeat measures showed significant reduction of EMG activity in OAB patients for the 10 MVCs, from the first to the last contraction for nearly every electrode. Also, especially nearest the urethral sphincter and the puborectal muscle. We found no significant faster decline, slope, in EMG activity from the first to the last contraction for all 24 electrodes. Endurance was similar to MVC. I'm not that. Conclusion. The significant lower muscle activity in patients with complaints of OAB indicates a lot of strains, but the absence of a faster decline, the slope, in EMG activity in OAB patients implicates that in OAB did not reveal indications of fatigue. The specific location of reduction of EMG activity around the puborectal muscle possibly connected to a loss of coordination and motor control. The results indicate that it could be of a clinical relevance that not only strains, but also a decrease or a loss of motor control and coordination are causes of the pelvic floor muscle dysfunction in OAB patients. That may imply that it's possible to simplify exercise programs tailored to motor control and coordination. So further research is necessary. Thank you. Tak.
This paper is now open for questions.
Hi, Paul Hodges from Australia. Just a couple of things I wanted to ask. One is you mentioned urethral sphincter recordings, but the electrode is inserted anally. Is that right?
No, that's women. It's inserted vaginally.
It's vaginally.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, how do you record from the urethral sphincter?
I'm sorry.
Are you certain?
How do we know it's the...
Can you be certain that you're actually recording from the urethral sphincter if you're in the vagina?
Yes, researchers before, they checked with MRI and ultrasound to check if the electrodes were nearest to the urethral sphincter.
But have you recorded activity directly from the sphincter and with this probe to confirm that it's actually the same muscle?
Yes, if you want the precise, they did it with needle EMG and...
in the urethra, at the same time as
I'm not sure it was in the urethra, but he's gonna explain that question. They did it with a neurostimulator and with a needle, but I don't know if it's also the sphincter.
Sure. I guess I would just because the electrode is near where the sphincter is, it's in a different structure, and the urethral sphincter sits anterolaterally around the urethra, which is away from where you are in the vagina. So I would question whether you're actually getting a precise measure of the urethral sphincter with that electrode.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Okay.
we can compare your measurements and our measurements. Do your catheter and our probe.
That's a
Yeah, let's
possibility.
do that.
That's all right.
It would be a way to
Oh,
do
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.